Hi, I'm Marcus,
And I'm Nick.
and we are Working Class Nerds.
We're the podcast that gives you no information about your favorite information.
It is January 16th, 2018.
And we have a doozy for you today. Today, we discuss the empire of Disney. Marcus had the opportunity to venture into the dragon's lair, the mouse's house, so to speak, the self-proclaimed happiest place on earth, Disney World. And without further ado, Marcus, let's hear what your week was like.
Well, so, there hasn't been much gaming going on. I had good intentions this past week to bring my laptop with us to Disney, and I was going to be like, man, the baby's going to go to bed. I'm going to game. Well, little did I know.
It didn't quite happen.
No, it didn't, because you go to this wonderful world of Disney, and the thing you forget about when all the plans happen is how much walking you have to do.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I don't mind the walking. I don't at all. It's the long days, the bus rides,
Oh, yeah. The shuttles.
the shuttles.
Right.
And by the end of it, I was like, I am not taking another fucking bus.
Anywhere.
I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
So I took a taxi a couple times.
Wow.
Paid the $10. Don't care. Thank you so much.
That's awesome.
Give me the ride.
They didn't have like Lyft or Uber?
All right, so I'm not on the Uber game. You know,
Oh.
so when I asked the guy, I could have sworn he thought I was going to die. He's like, the Uber cars are right there. And I was like, no, I'm looking for a taxi.
And he's like, what?
He thought about it for a second. He goes, oh, maybe way over there. Let me ask somebody. Where are the taxis? Oh, yeah, way over there.
That's crazy.
So anyway, so we left last Thursday. It was, the car picked us up here, which was the greatest idea ever.
You had a car service?
Yeah, with a baby, 2-year-old.
Sure.
2-year-old, get the car service.
Mm-hmm.
Worth every dollar. Guy picks us up. I bring out my bags. He loads them into the trunk. Baby gets in the car with the wife.
Yep.
We brought our mother-in-law for some help. And, well, my mother-in-law, my wife's mom. And I sat in, like, the middle rows of
Yeah.
the car. And I just slept. It was great. You know, my wife and my mother-in-law took care of the baby. But anyway, so we got on the plane. Plane was great. Southwest down. Southwest was great. We land there, 80 degrees.
Wow.
Again, we're in New England, and as we said last week, it's been really fucking cold.
It's been awful. And we're about to get 8 more inches tonight, I believe.
Yeah. So, needless to say, so we get down there. It was great. We get to our hotel, which was awesome.
Where'd you stay?
Old Key West.
Oh, sweet.
It's one of the resorts. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways, we had a 1-bedroom suite, villa thing. Had a kitchen, everything. It was great.
That's awesome.
So, we go to Magic Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Day 1, you go to Magic Kingdom.
Oh, day 1.
Yeah,
right away.
of
And
course.
it was fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, my daughter, the castle. Now, she won't ever remember this stuff,
Sure.
but I sure will.
Right.
And my wife and I have gone a few times together, and it's been, you know, it was a complete different experience.
Mm.
But I'm going to tell you, for me being a dad,
Yeah.
seeing my daughter hug Mickey Mouse and, like, lose her mind over that
Yeah.
was amazing.
Yeah.
But I will say, I've never ridden a carousel as many times as I have in a week. No joke. I'm guessing 30 times.
Wow.
I don't know if you get motion sickness,
Oh, I definitely do.
but after about 30 times going around the carousel, you get sick.
Yeah.
And all she wanted to do was ride the carousel. The horses.
Awesome.
But the reason why we're talking about Disney today is because I've been watching Star Wars since I was a kid.
Sure.
And, I mean, my VHS tapes got eaten because I watched them so many times and
Yeah.
rewinded so many times.
Mine too.
Yeah.
The original trilogy that my grandfather handed me down. The original trilogy, you know, the 1990 whatever special edition with all the CG crap added in. He had the VHS version of that, and I rewound it and watched it a gazillion times, and I didn't understand that A New Hope was the first movie because they destroyed the Death Star and the Death Star was back. I'm like, what do you mean? Well, I don't understand.
Yeah. So we, I saw so many Star Wars shirts the first day.
In Magic Kingdom.
Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
I was blown away.
Really?
You go into stores, every store has a corner that's Star Wars. I mean, I must have saw more Kylo Ren's lightsabers everywhere and kids beating the shit out of each other in the middle of the streets than anything else, and parents getting pissed. And I'm saying to myself, how can you get mad at them? They're kids at Disney World and they're beating the shit out of each other.
With lightsabers.
You bought it.
Yeah, you bought the lightsaber. You let them walk around with it.
You spent $35.99 on a piece of plastic.
Yeah, that's expensive.
Everything is expensive.
$10 bottle of water.
No, I don't know. We brought our own water, but what was
sure.
An ice cream sandwich?
Yeah,
Mickey Mouse shaped ice cream sandwich, $5.69.
Oh,
For an ice cream, yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, in the Star Wars community is so big right now. I wanted to talk about it as soon as we landed today, while it was on my brain, because I'm blown away by what Disney has done with it. And is it for the positive or is it for the negative?
Right.
You know,
right.
Everybody has their opinions on The Last Jedi. I've only seen it once. We're not going to go there because we've already talked about that. But
sure. Yep.
I liked it. I like that Disney is putting money into Star Wars because, let's face it, it is a cash cow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely
the biggest fantasy franchise in the world, I would say.
You think it's bigger than Lord of the Rings?
I think so now, yeah. I mean,
now.
Definitely. I think the recent Hobbit movies might have done well at the box office, but the Star Wars movies are destroying them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think if you go back, to the early 2000s, I think the Lord of the Rings might have been a little bit bigger than Star Wars. Back when the Lord of the Rings movies were coming out, because those were epic.
Yeah,
to say the least, and they were going up against the prequel trilogy, which was, received substantially, smaller or less than.
I don't know if it was.
Trilogy.
Again, I think they did a good job with the prequels. I think that in every movie there's good parts and there's bad parts.
Right.
I think still to this day everybody can say Phantom Menace is the worst movie ever, but everybody loves Darth Maul.
Right. That
everybody loves
probably one of the best in Star Wars. It's my top 3.
Right. But he was all over Hollywood studios, which I'll get into that later.
Okay.
But for Star Wars where it is today, it's just mind-boggling. If you found a Star Wars t-shirt 5 years ago, 7 years ago,
sure,
you were pumped. Now, everywhere you turn, there's a different rendition of a t-shirt.
Sure, of the logo.
I mean, I'm wearing one.
True. I have a Star Wars hoodie.
Yeah, exactly. So it was just wild to me. And then every year I go to Disney, they have some awesome artwork. And I always pick up a new piece for my office, painting or digital. It doesn't matter to me. And
just whatever, really appeals to you at the time.
Absolutely. Has to be numbered, has to be limited.
Sure. It's got to be special.
Exactly, because
in some form or another, yeah.
Well, yeah, absolutely. You go into my office, it's all limited edition prints.
Right.
It has to mean something, and it has to be something that everybody else doesn't have.
Right.
I'm just that guy. So anyway,
right.
So we went to Epcot, and they had their art festival, which blew me away. And who doesn't like going to Epcot? My kid loved it because she could just run around. I ate a ton of food,
right,
and drank almost at every country.
That's the challenge.
No, that's the challenge, and it was so much fun to do it. But it was a beautiful day, and I found what was the company name? I think Acme, Acme Arts or something. They had their booth, and that's where all the Star Wars prints were.
Right.
And I ended up buying 2 pieces, which if we were half organized and we had show notes, I could post them in it, but we're not there yet.
Maybe someday.
Yeah, someday we'll have show notes. But, I met a couple guys there that helped me. This one guy, Cameron, was awesome, helped me through, talking to me about the pieces, who drew them, how they were limited, what numbers were available. Because really in the editions, you want to be in the lowest number of the edition possible.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know why that is, but I'm not a crazy art buff. But anyways, I bought an awesome painting of Scarif with the stormtroopers in the water, and there's an AT-AT in the background.
That sounds awesome.
But the wild thing I learned was there's only one copy of it that has the Death Star in the sky. And George Lucas owns it. He kept it and said, I don't want the Death Star in it. Take it out. Well, all of these paintings were painted, so they had to redo the sky to take out the
Death Star.
To take out the Death Star, but where the stormtroopers are in the water, you can see a slight reflection of the Death Star in the water still. Oh. So it's pretty wild. But as the editions went on, those weren't there anymore.
Right.
Because in the early editions, the Death Star was in the sky and the reflection in the water, but now it's not.
Right.
So I happen to have one with the Death Star still reflecting, but it's not in the sky.
Well, that's pretty awesome.
Well, it is awesome.
Yeah.
So the guy Cameron that helped me, I don't know if he was, I think he was the sales rep. He kind of walked me through. He was awesome. Mm-hmm. He took me over to Rob, the artist who actually painted it, and he drew Millennium Falcon on the back for me, dedicated it to my daughter, which was super nice of them. They didn't have to do that.
Sure.
But
it's
again,
just a guy who loves what he does.
Yeah. You know? And then, I don't know, it's just like something about, and then the other painting that I got was about Tatooine. It shows Luke driving the speeder, and it said something about like the Tatooine Classic or something, the Hutt Classic.
Oh, that's cool.
It's basically just a joke kind of painting, but
it's like fan service.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
A cool little knickknack. Somebody's gonna go, oh, that's awesome.
Exactly. Well, that awesome person is me. I bought it.
Right.
And but man, $35 to ship it ground.
Wow.
$35 for 2 paintings. I don't know. Was that crazy? See, me,
I guess maybe it's like they actually take care of it or something instead of just chucking it around.
It's ground. They're just going to chuck it.
That's true.
It's going to get beat up.
Yeah. Do you roll it up or is it on the canvas?
Oh, it's on the canvas.
Oh, okay.
It's in a box with plastic wrapped around it.
Yeah, so that'll be fine.
Well, yeah, but it's still $35
for if it's just ground.
Well,
getting chucked around.
Well, it's Disney fee.
Oh.
You know?
The good old mouse tax.
Yeah, so so that's pretty much it. Disney was awesome. You know, as expensive as it is to go to see a kid's face, enjoy it, is worth every minute. And then before I, let you talk about your week, because I like to talk, here's my question.
Okay.
Does Tom Brady or any other superstar just go to Disney World and just hide in the crowd because there's so many people and nobody's actually going to notice them? Or how can they shut down Disney World when that place is packed every single day?
I don't know. See, it depends on the level of star.
No, it's the same. I pay the same amount to get in as him.
No. I mean, it depends on what they do, because if Tom Brady goes into Disney, I guarantee you somebody recognizes him.
Well, yeah.
But if, I don't know, Nate Solar goes, yeah, he's going to be 6'5" and super tall, but people might not know exactly who he is and stop him for autographs. You know what I'm saying? I mean, people might look at him and go, holy crap, that guy's huge. Nate Solar's the left tackle, FYI, for the Patriots. You know what I'm saying? But Tom Brady or Gronkowski, Gronk is instantly recognizable. Okay. So they would be, I don't think they'd be able to hide in the crowd.
Well, no, because they're like 6'11". Like LeBron James goes to Disney World, he's going to be, uber's tall, taller than every single person there. He's
going to stick out like a sore thumb just because of his height.
But his kids are still going to want to go.
Right.
So how do they go?
I think you have to shut down the park.
But the park doesn't ever get shut down.
Right. Or maybe, I guess, you'd have to have some kind of security detail that just keeps people away from you.
Maybe they shut down parts of the park?
Oh, that could be it. Like, hey, we're going to be at Magic Kingdom from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. Shut it down during them, or whatever. You know what I mean?
Or we're going to ride it to Small World at 10 o'clock.
Yeah. Shut it down from 10 to 10:20 or something like that.
I want to know how they navigate that.
That's true, yeah.
Because there's so many people. I went to different parks every day.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to figure out how they could accommodate a star in that place.
It's got to be just scheduled out like that.
It has to be.
You know what I mean? Like, it's got to be... Well, I've heard of, like, I think Michael Jackson did it, where he shut down the whole park and just went for the day or something to that effect. I've heard of stars doing that, but that's got to be crazy expensive every time you go. You know what I mean? Like $20 million, just boom, on one amusement park. That's crazy.
Well, I don't know.
I feel like you could probably say, hey, I'm coming to, it's a Small World at 10:20 a.m. and I'm going to be there for 10:40. If I can ride it twice or 3 times, that's it. But this is what I want. And then I'm going to have, so you have it like scheduled out every like 20 minutes or 40 minutes or whatever it needs to be. You know what I'm saying? And then just have a security detail around you to keep people from giving you autographs and pictures and all that.
It just boggles my mind how they can accommodate stars.
Yeah.
Because there's so many people all the time.
Yeah.
But anyway, enough about me.
It's got to be mostly on the star. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Nick. Now, while I was wearing mouse ears.
Yeah, I was sitting in 80
pushing
degrees,
a carriage around. Yeah.
Sipping beverages
whoa.
from
It
all
wasn't all
different
8. The first 2 days were 80 degrees.
Oh.
And then every other day was 60, 65. But still.
You poor baby. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, it was beautiful. So tell me about what you did this week.
Well, let me just first and foremost clarify. I think this week it was about... I don't think it got over 20 degrees here, so...
I was in a t-shirt all week. I'm not going to lie.
I don't think I definitely wore
And
long
shorts.
pants all week. And definitely wore boots. And definitely had a hoodie and a sweatshirt and a hat and gloves and sometimes a scarf. But anyways, this week I actually started work at that hospital job. I'm an orderly in the emergency department or emergency room, which basically entails me transporting patients from the emergency department into the other various parts of the hospital if they need to stay longer, as well as stocking the patient's room. So if they need more blankets over here or there in the cabinets or different pillowcases or sheets, that's my job. And then also restocking the various carts, they're called. So there's like a code cart. So code meaning is short for code blue, which is code for if someone stops breathing. So there's a cart specifically for people whose heart stops or they start breathing. They have different supplies in there, like the CPR machine and different gauze and stuff like that.
So once they use it, you guys have to clean it and
no, we don't.
It.
Yeah, it's just a cart. Like it's almost like a rolling tool chest.
Yeah.
That have like these little plastic locks on the drawers. So like I'll restock it and then lock it. But if you need something out of there, you can just pull on it, relatively hard, and it'll snap the lock. But it's a way for the orderlies to know that something got taken out of there. So you need to go restock it. So every time you go in there, you look at the logbook, whatever, who did it, and it's done.
Do you have somebody that coordinates what you do during the day? So,
yeah, it's all by schedule. So there's different sections of the emergency department called pods, A through E. So A and B are they call them acute, or like really severe patients, like traumas, people who are basically closer to dying than others.
Somebody that got stabbed is in there.
Right, is in A pod, or you know what I mean? Or maybe B pod if A pod's getting full. And then C, D, as the lower in the alphabet, the less acute it is. And E pod is actually separate. That's for mental health patients, people who it's basically like a jail section. Yeah, they might be trying to hurt themselves or others.
Sure.
So that's what that is. That's a fun pod for sure. But anyways, an orderly is assigned a certain pod to restock. So, like, you can transport patients from whatever pod, but you're responsible for restocking that one.
At the same time as transporting.
Right. So you're not always going to have stuff to transport unless it's a particularly crazy day. Or patients to transport, I mean. But your primary spot that you transport people out of is your pod. You know what I mean?
All right.
But, like, if I'm assigned to D pod and A pod has 10 patients that needs to be transported and there's one guy that has to do them all, well, I can go help them. You know what I mean? But I'm primarily responsible for my spot.
Oh, that's perfect. So, hypothetically.
Yep. I think I know where you're going with this.
No, hypothetically, if a patient was to come in bloody.
Yep.
And they're bleeding everywhere.
Okay.
But they need the patient to get to wherever they need to go to get sewed up.
Okay.
You're still going to have to push them when they're gushing blood?
Oh, for sure. Well,
I'm not good with blood.
Yeah, Marcus is definitely squeamish. I'm fine, obviously, but...
Well, if you want to be a PA, you have to be not squeamish.
Right. But, well, I mean, technically speaking, if we're really going to go... This is going into medical nerddom instead of gaming, or regular nerddom. But if they're bleeding, they're going to stay in the ED and get treated there. Because it's like...
Well, I guess
stabilize and they get shipped up. You know what I'm saying?
Hypothetically,
but like if someone's coding and bleeding everywhere, hypothetically speaking, if someone was like bleeding profusely out of their mouth or something like that, and their heart stops, and I have to do CPR on them, I still have to do CPR on them.
All right.
Bleeding or not, you just put gloves and a gown on and a mask and everything and go to
sure.
work. You know
I'm with you. All right.
So that's my job currently. So I started that this week, and then I also have started class today, which is Tuesdays and Thursdays. I squeezed it all in Tuesdays and Thursdays, so my Tuesdays and Thursdays suck balls.
Well, that's the worst.
But
it must be good to get back into the groove.
Yeah, definitely.
And you're close to the girlfriend again.
Right.
She's no longer an hour and a half away. Now she's 20 minutes away.
It's definitely sweet.
I bet it is. Sure. So, any gaming this week?
I played a little bit of Shadow of Mordor, not a whole lot. I conquered Saragoth for all you Lord of the Rings fans.
I don't even know what that is.
It's like the snowy place with a castle.
All right, I'm going to call it Hoth. Sarah Hoth.
Mordor's Hoth.
Yeah, Mordor's Hoth.
There you go.
No,
or Saragoth. I don't know. I might have said that wrong. Don't.
What level are you at now?
Hey, not too bad. I'm level 28, 29. I think the cap is 60.
So you're almost halfway there.
Yeah, I think I'm probably halfway through Act 2, and I think there's 4 acts of the game. So yeah, you can get to level 70, and then the orcs can get up to, or Orcai, whatever they end up being, can get up to 65. So like, you can only take them over if you're a higher level than them.
Sure. Well, I hear you.
Yeah.
Well, it's good that at least you got to play some games.
A little bit. Not a whole lot. I've been pretty busy, too.
Well, a little is better than zero.
That's true.
And, my...
Oh, you can't complain too much. Your zero is because you were
at Disney
walking and sipping at the...
Oh, yeah. Oh, there's no question. Okay, so Magic Kingdom
Yep.
doesn't serve alcohol at all. Mm-hmm. But every other park does. Okay. So at every other park, it was great. I just got to walk around with a beer. I never got drunk. But it was nice to be able to be on vacation and enjoy a beer.
Sure, just have a cool buzz while you're hanging out, walking around. Nothing excessive.
And as we're talking about that, as we said that we love craft beer, I'm drinking. I drank it last time, the Lost Nation Mosaic IPA. But down there, everywhere was IPAs.
Really?
So Disney had this Cigar City Brewing High Life. Yep. You can't get it up here. It was great.
Yeah.
It was like $8 a beer for a 12-ounce can.
That's not that bad.
Well, for a 12-ounce can.
Jesus.
So it was great. And I enjoyed them. But it was nice to be able to be on vacation at a theme park for my daughter, but still be able to enjoy a beer that I liked. It wasn't a Bud Light or...
Just a light domestic beer.
I don't mind a light domestic beer every now and again, but I really...
would prefer...
a good beer.
Yeah, like an IPA of some kind. That's really good, yeah.
And tomorrow starts my gaming... I don't know what I could call it. Back to it. So tomorrow night I got Ops with my sup team, Sith with Unlimited Power. I'm excited to get back to grinding Ops.
The endless grind.
Yeah, no, I missed it, and with the holiday break, and now Disney, I kind of been disheveled, and the Sunday night Ops team, we did 1 week after Christmas and New Year's, and then I went to Disney, so we took another week off, so really in 4 weeks we've only played once.
Right.
So I feel like I missed so much, and I just miss sitting in front of my computer, believe it or not. Right. I just miss it. And, what was I going to say?
Well, plus you get to interact with all those people that you haven't met for the past couple of weeks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You've seen him once a few weeks ago, or talked to him once a few weeks ago, and that's it.
Oh man, I'm so sorry. I'm going to interject. I totally forgot. So I'm walking around Hollywood Studios, and I guess I'll get there later. But I couldn't. So First Order troopers are everywhere.
Okay, yeah.
And so they must say something into their the system, and it comes out like a First Order trooper.
Oh, like all garbled? Yeah.
Yeah, like negative. Instead of saying negative, it comes out negative. So every time, or maybe it's like a pre-programmed answers that they have that they can do, like hand motions or something, because they were very defined in what they could say.
Okay.
But anyway, so I'm trying to get a picture with this First Order trooper. I said to him, "Hey, can I get a picture with you?" And he goes, "Negative." And I was like, "Well, you're a jerk. You better watch what you say. We're the First Order. You need to respect us." And he went through this whole spiel, and he finally just shushed me. Wow. And my wife, little did I know, standing in the background taking pictures, and she has a picture, but the picture doesn't look like he was putting up his index finger. It looks like he had his middle finger up at me, telling me to shush. So it's like the big gamble was the First Order trooper giving me the finger, or was he telling me to shh?
Huh. Well, that's pretty awesome.
Either way. I got, so I got to take a bathroom break.
All right. So when we come back, we'll be discussing the scandal surrounding the new Han Solo movie entitled Solo and how it could affect the Star Wars fan base. And we're back. So, Marcus, tell me how Star Wars has changed Disney World.
Well, I don't think it's changed Epcot, Animal Kingdom, Magic Kingdom at all. Hollywood Studios is going through a transition, I think, right now. Mm-hmm. Because, as you said to me earlier off air, the properties of Hollywood Studios are out of date.
Right.
So
the Indiana Jones.
Yeah, I think Indiana Jones is still relevant because kids still watch it because their parents
watched it
and make them watch it. But I think a lot of the Mary Poppins, the Chinese theater that's in the back, the old, all those old movies, nobody watches them anymore, and I think it needs an update. Even, the Tower of Terror seems outdated.
But didn't they change that to something else?
Well, it's now the Hollywood Tower.
Right.
I don't know. I think the Twilight Zone pulled out or something, or maybe they're licensing.
Right, they don't own the Twilight Zone anymore. Or something
exactly,
like that.
something of the sorts.
Sure.
So, but what has changed is Hollywood Studios. I'm calling it Star Wars Studios. Everywhere you turn is Star Wars. Every display case is selling you something that says Star Wars on it, or a Kylo Ren lightsaber, or a BB-8. Everywhere.
Yeah, BB-8 backpack or.
I saw
drink bottle or whatever.
BB-8 backpack, Chewbacca backpack, Yoda backpack. Wow. Instead of getting the Mickey Mouse ears, you can buy the Yoda ears, and it's like a soft green cap with the ears on it.
Oh, nice.
It's
sounds like a lot of cool merchandise.
Absolutely.
And you know what he brought me back? Nothing. That's not true at all. I got a Mickey shaped Rice Krispie treat that I ate before the show.
But that's the greatest. It's the greatest Rice Krispie treat ever. I show that, and I bringing that back. And mind you, that motherfucker was $4.69. So anyway, I think the park is changing. I saw Star Wars Land, like I said, and
that's under construction.
Correct.
Right.
And the towers of structures that they're building right now is unbelievable. And coming from the carpenter, I get excited over that.
Sure, of course.
And I criticize every single thing I see.
Of course.
All the time.
Yeah.
And I got really excited for it. And then I, kind of looked around at the rest of the park. And once the Star Wars Land is open, the park is going to change again. Because nobody's going to want to be in the old park.
Right.
Because there's really nothing to do in the old park.
Right.
Except walk through to get you to Star Wars.
Right.
Or Toy Story or the Tower of Terror.
Right.
It's really like the big attractions there. They got another roller coaster there.
Is Rock and Roller Coaster there?
Yes.
I will say Rock and Roller Coaster is pretty fun.
It's fun. But again...
But it's also pretty old. Isn't that in the 90s or something?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know any of those details.
I don't know either.
But what I'm trying to say about Star Wars is so huge right now. And the Star Tours, which is their Star Wars ride.
Okay, yeah.
And I don't know if you ever rode it.
Is that the one where it's like a sort of a room that moves around you
and
you watch the screen?
Yes.
Big motion sickness
yes.
danger.
Yeah. So I did that. Now, mind you, when it was the old one, I did it, I would say 100 times so I could do all 42 different versions of it.
Whoa.
And if
I didn't even know that was a thing. That's awesome.
So there's 42 different versions of the original. Yeah. And they have the camera that comes up and it says, "Oh, you're the rebel spy. If you're sitting in the middle seat of the third row, you're the rebel spy." Figured that out after a few times doing it, right? So you try to navigate your way into that to be the rebel spy. But now the new movies have come out. So I did it, and it started you off the same way as your rebel spy, which it didn't make sense because why would you be a rebel spy in the new era of movies? So then it took us to Jakku, where you were following the Millennium Falcon when they first flew it and they were running.
Through the Star Destroyers?
Yes, in The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
So you were following them through that. Mm-hmm. Then as soon as you went up into the sky, you went to light speed, and then we landed on the Salt Planet. Well, I don't know the name of it from The Last Jedi. I
forgot what it's called, too. Hoth 2.0.
Hoth 2.0, perfect.
Right.
And, spoilers, you're you're following one of those rickety old
speeder things
that speeder
drag on the salt and
exactly
kick up the red dust. And
yes.
Say, oh, this isn't Hoth. It's salt. See?
Yeah, salt.
Anyway, not snow.
So you do that. You shoot down an AT-AT, and then you take off and you land on a planet, which I didn't know what planet it was, and the ride was over.
Oh, cool.
But it didn't make sense. Like, I understand why they were incorporating it. And you remember Maz, the alien with the glasses?
Maz, the alien whose name I couldn't remember for the life of me.
Yes, yes. And the one that, like, found Rey finding Luke's lightsaber.
Right, exactly.
So anyway, so she was in it, and she's like, we need your help.
Yeah.
And it just all didn't
really
make sense.
Come together very cohesively.
Right. And C-3PO and R2 are, like, the main
tour guides, so to speak?
Yeah, tour guides. Perfect.
Sure.
And, I think they need to rework it. And they're doing what they can. But they're doing it because they're making their movies.
Right.
And then my baby was asleep. It was like 6 o'clock. She was dead asleep. Mm-hmm. And my wife said, I'm leaving. Why don't you stay? And I was like, no, I'm not leaving you. And my mother-in-law's like, I'm going to go back with her. It'll be the both of us will go back. You enjoy the fireworks. Because they have the new, it's called Star Wars, a Galactic Celebration.
Huh.
So in the main area of Hollywood Studios, so all the parks have some kind of nighttime show now.
Yeah,
but
fireworks or something.
Where the Chinese theater is,
yep.
They display video on it and shoot off fireworks.
Mm-hmm.
So they did their original movies, which was like the Indiana Jones, the Mary Poppins, all the Disney movies that they've made, and they kind of put it in a little show for 10 minutes. And then the Star Wars one came, and I guess this is going to be me being a negative Nancy because, he just likes the old movies. No, I liked the new movies. I really did. But I think they emphasized the new movies. So out of a 20-minute show, let's say 6 minutes of it was old.
Right.
There was no hat tip to Carrie Fisher. Right. It was really, really focused on Force Awakens, Rogue One, and The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Big time. And I understand because that's truly Disney property.
Sure.
They own the franchise, but they're not pushing episode 4, 5, and 6 anymore.
Right. They didn't make 4, 5, and 6. They made, 8 and 9.
Right.
Or
so
7 and 8.
And now, this blows my mind. So the one thing that I saw everywhere was Solo t-shirts.
Right.
Solo. A Star Wars story. The movie's not even out. We haven't even seen a trailer yet, and they're selling fucking t-shirts for $24.95 each.
Damn.
For a movie that's not even out yet.
That's crazy.
And I saw more guys my age wearing that t-shirt. And I'm like, there's so many more awesome shirts there.
Yeah, from stuff that you've actually seen and know that is, an actually good movie.
Capitalizing. I love you. I know. Do you know how many couples I saw wearing those shirts?
I love you and I know.
Yeah, everywhere. They made hats that say that. They had stickers that said that.
Wow.
I mean, you name it of any iconic moment in the Star Wars franchise, they had a t-shirt or a cup or something made with it on it.
That's crazy.
Wild.
That is wild.
But for a Star Wars fan like myself, I liked seeing all those Star Wars shirts.
Right, yeah.
Before I left, I bought a Star Wars shirt that was a cover of issue 125 or something of the original Star Wars series in comic book. They printed it on there, and it was Darth Vader.
Whoa.
So I bought it. I'm a big guy, right? I buy a 2XL. No problem. So I get there, I pull it out. My wife starts laughing at me, and I was like, what's so funny? She goes, look at the shirt. I bought a kid's XXL. I didn't even know they made kids XXL. Since when is a kid a XXL? Why can't you just buy them a men's small?
Yeah, right?
Like, when did kids get their own XXL?
Yeah, that's just craziness.
But anyways, so if I put this shirt on, it would have been a belly shirt. All right? And what I mean by belly, it would have covered my tits, and my belly would have been hanging out. That's about it, That's awesome. So I started thinking about this whole Solo movie.
Right.
And all the negative impacts that they've had in this movie.
Sure, it's kind of tough to, It's a little frustrating to see them or hear that they're marketing it so heavily. When you have, no trailer, they've gone through 2 different directors, trying to get this thing made, which is a little worrying because that either means they're definitely doing something poorly. That means either the script is bad and they don't like how the directors are making the script look, and they can't find anybody that can make their crappy script look good, or they're just hiring directors poorly and just doing a terrible job at hiring. Or a third option would be that they're just demanding so much that it's an impossible task and nobody can fill.
But that brings us back to, is the script bad?
Right.
Or are they trying to do too much in a movie? Because they're probably trying... If I had to guess, they're doing the Kessel Run. They're going to show how Han Solo got the Millennium Falcon from Lando.
Oh, right, sure.
Maybe how Chewie and Han met.
Right.
Maybe they're trying to pack all that into a movie. But just to defend the directors...
Right.
Directors quit all the time.
That's true.
If who knows the cockhold that Disney has on them? They could be squeezing their dick so tight, and they're just like, "Fuck this,
I'm out.
I'm out of here."
Yeah.
Or it's the script is bad, like you said, or something else.
Sure.
Something else I heard was that Alden. I'm going to butcher his name.
Einreich, I think his name is.
Einreich.
Let's go with Einreich.
Yeah. All right.
We'll call him Alden going forward. We can nail the first name.
Yeah. All right. So they're saying he can't act.
I've also heard rumors of that are having a lot of trouble getting him to act properly, which is strange because the cast around him seems pretty good. You've got Donald Glover playing Lando, which is pretty sweet.
Right.
Also known as I completely forgot his rapper name, but anyways, he's a good actor. I've seen him in Community. Did a nice job there. A couple other things.
And just so we're clear, we're not the data people that's going to have everything right all the time.
Oh,
we're
definitely
just here.
not.
We're just here
to talk about stuff.
Exactly. And so the Alden guy, it is confirmed that he had to hire an acting coach to be with him for every scene.
Right.
So I can understand. I'm not an actor. Right. I can act to you, and I can act like a douchebag.
Sure.
But I could never act in a movie and pretend I'm not me.
Right.
I'm me 24/7, and I can't fake that.
Right. Yeah.
So, if he needs a little help because they're like, oh, emphasize, yeah, instead of, yeah. Well, I get it.
Right.
Sure, another voice telling you you're doing a shitty job is always a good thing.
Sure.
And it takes less stress off the director.
Yeah, so it's not always the one person being the voice of negativity.
Right, but in the information world, Phil Lord and Chris Miller, who did 21 Jump Street.
Yep. It was a great comedy, by the way.
Yeah, it was good.
Side note. I enjoyed it a lot.
I watched it 3/4 of it, and I laughed through 3/4 of it. And I fell asleep.
Someone fell asleep. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's okay. But the part I saw, so they left. Of course, they didn't give a reason why they were going.
Right.
But for whatever reason, it leads me back to, is the actor that they picked for Han Solo.
Oh, pushing these directors out.
Yeah. Because they're like, we can't work with this idiot.
Right.
And
now that he's the face of the Solo movie, you can't change him.
And the other thing is, why can't they just hire somebody that has a little bit of credibility?
Right.
Is it because they don't want to pay him?
Right.
They're going to make millions and millions, but if you get an actor off the street, oh yeah, I'll just take $100,000 a year.
Right.
You know what I mean? And obviously, if you're doing a Star Wars movie, you're asking for more money than that.
Sure.
So, my point is this movie going to fail?
Well, I don't think so. I think it's hard for any Star Wars movie to fail at the box office anyway.
Until the first one.
That's true.
So, here's my thought. And I'm going to go back to the good old Call of Duty days.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So, when Call of Duty Modern Warfare came out, everybody played it. It was great. We were playing it. Then we played Modern Warfare 2. We played it until we couldn't.
Right.
Modern Warfare 3 came out, and we were like,
yeah.
And then Black Ops came out, and we were like, wow, this is great.
Right.
And then it slowly, the quality of game went down because they were pushing it out every single year.
Right. Right.
And my question is, okay, so if they put out this one bad movie, which I don't understand why they just don't push it out. It's slated to come out May 25th. Why not push it to December, like every other Star Wars movie?
Oh, because it's... Oh, yeah, but that would be this December.
It's coming out this May.
Right.
We're in January, so February, March, April, May. 4 months from now.
Yeah, but they don't want
that movie's coming out.
They don't want to compete with Episode 8.
That's a year from now, 2019.
No, that's Episode 9. I mean, if they push... The Last Jedi just came out in December.
Correct. So now this next movie is coming out in May.
Right.
So 6 months later. So why can't they push it to the end of December to make the movie right?
Oh, right.
If they don't have a trailer, they don't have...
Right.
They have a director.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying anything's really wrong, but if there's no trailer...
Right. Then something's amiss.
I mean, if they can't even produce a trailer with the guy pretending to be, or he is young Han Solo,
yeah,
it means it's pretty fucking bad.
Right. That's true.
They could do no voice from the guy, but people want to know that this guy's going to be able to handle Han Solo.
Right.
Harrison Ford. You think Han Solo, you only think Harrison Ford.
Right.
And
it's pretty giant shoes to fill.
Yeah. And I understand why they want to go on to that cash cow, because, then they can sell Han Solo action figures.
Yeah, well, and more than they already do. And they can have young Solo, Han Solo action figures and T-shirts with the new guy on it, and cups and backpacks. And
Harrison Ford will ride out into the sunset.
Right, exactly. And you're going to have the new Chewbacca bowcaster or whatever he's got from this movie, because I'm sure everything's going to be just a little different. So that means all the new toys will be just a little different.
Right.
All the new merchandise will be just a little different.
So on the plus side of all this, we know that Rogue One had a lot of issues too.
Right.
It resulted in a significant amount of reshoots.
Oh, that's true.
But the movie turned out okay in the end.
Yeah, I enjoyed Rogue One a lot.
But Rogue One never had a actor issue.
That's true. Right.
And the main actor.
Right.
Like Jyn Orso was awesome.
Yeah, I loved that movie, frankly.
Well, my thought on Rogue One is, and I don't make movies.
Right.
Don't ever make movies.
Right.
I do finished carpentry.
And now you make a podcast.
Well, whatever it is, my point is, in my eyes, if I know how the movie's supposed to end,
it's hard.
It's hard not to fail.
Right. I think that also was a reason why the prequels were received so poorly, because you know how that story ends.
Right. So my question to you is, and this is how I guess I can close with you. Mm-hmm. If this movie bombs,
right,
how can they make you, Nick, go back to the theater again for the next Star Wars story?
Well, I think the subject matter has to be really compelling, which I think there's rumors it might be a Boba Fett movie.
I think it's going to be Ben Kenobi.
Oh, okay. So, that's right. Yeah. Well, I think, and you have to have no public mention of reshoots or actor troubles or director troubles or anything like that.
But it's going to happen in the information age that we live.
Right.
Somebody that's on the set can, secretly talk to Joe Smith, who knows Jim Lay, and that is a publisher for whatever magazine, blog,
sure,
whatever, that says, hey, through a source of a source says this, it takes off.
That's true. Yeah. Well, I mean, see, it goes back to my earlier point to where a Star Wars movie can't go wrong. I think they've had so many hits and it's so popular that even if they do take a misstep with this Solo movie, it's not going to matter. Like, I'll still go watch the next Star Wars story that comes out.
No matter what.
I think so. I'll go see if they could right the ship, if nothing else.
So, Star Wars Solo comes out, it's awful. You waste $10.50. You're mad.
Right.
You're going to think twice about sitting in that seat and paying $10.50 or standing in line with me at 10 or 11 at night to go to the midnight showing the night before to see Episode 9.
Right.
Or the next Star Wars story or whatever it is.
Right.
My concern is, do they cancel it and just say, look, it's bad. I'm sorry. Or push it out to make it right? to ensure a good quality product.
And when you mean push it out, you mean delay the movie release.
Yes.
Yeah, I think delaying the movie release is definitely the move. I think canceling it at this point, especially if they're already selling T-shirts and merchandise for the movie, they can't really do that now. That'd be too big of a PR debacle.
Yeah.
But I think delaying is definitely the move. I think it's a good idea to delay the movie for sure.
Oh, I agree. So we'll have to wait and see how it happens.
Right.
I'm just worried that they're coming out with a new Star Wars movie every year is going to ruin the franchise. And I shouldn't say ruin the franchise. I should say hurt it in some sense.
Right. Oh, if it comes out subpar, I think it'll definitely hurt it. But I don't think it's irreparably so. I think they can definitely bounce back. And frankly, I think most people who would be interested in watching the movies, they're going to go see the next one, regardless.
Yeah, I'm with you. You ready to get out of here?
All right, let's wrap it up.
You can find me at WCN Podcast 17. The 17 is for the year we started this podcast.
What are you guys talking about in here?
Find out next episode of
Working Class Nerds.